with what occurred in Laurel County. I want to continue to say, and I told you yesterday, there's complaints that happen all around us in all our communities, all the counties that we work, the little municipalities, and we're going to continue to investigate these complaints. And if it's another post area, we'll help another post. If another post has to come and help us, or a sheriff's department, or a small agency, we're going to continue to work together to not just solve crimes here in Laurel County, but other jurisdictions as well. And we'll get started. The Kentucky State Police continues to assist the Laurel County Sheriff's Office with the manhunt of Joseph A. Couch. We're going on 72 hours of this manhunt. We remain committed to resolving this situation as swift and safely as possible. We extend our sincerely gratitude to all the community partners, first responders, local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies such as Fish and Wildlife, Federal Forestry Service, ATF, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, elected officials, and also churches and local organizations that has helped us to feed us, to make sure we got plenty of stuff to drink, and all the other agencies that are helping us that sometimes don't get named, like the sheriff's departments and the city police from outside of our jurisdiction here. But I want to give a big thanks to the London City Police. The London City Police has went way above and beyond. This did not happen or occur in the city limits of London, but this is their community. This is their people. And I want to thank them and their officers. They went way and above and beyond to help us answer calls out in the county, and they've done a great and remarkable job in helping in this situation. And their public affairs officer, me and him and Deputy Orchardo, we worked well together, passing on information. I want to thank them. I'm sure I'm leaving people out, but I want to thank everybody. I'm proud to be a Kentuckian. I'm proud to be the public affairs officer from the London State Police Post, and I hope that I'm making people feel at ease. And it's hard. It's hard when people are so at fear right now that there's probably somebody out there. But I know my fellow officers and troopers and all the other people, they're working their guts out to try to find this Mr. Couch and bring us to an end. But I just want to give another thanks. I want to thank, we've had outside agencies give us access to more aircraft. So we've got, several more helicopters in the air and technology. We got the ATF and the FBI and the Marshal Services, and we've got other entities from way off from us that are in contact with us to bring their equipment here to try and help locate Mr. Couch. So I want to thank them. I want to thank the people for being patient. I know you see all this stuff on Facebook, good or bad, but people are really behind us and supporting us. They're really supporting their neighbor. They're really looking out for each other, and we want to thank them for doing that. And we encourage them to continue to check on their neighbor, to check on the elderly person that don't have somebody regularly coming to their house. Make sure you hear from them daily. Make sure you're being vigilant when you go home, that you're checking maybe your camera, your Ring camera. You're checking your security system before you go to the house. Make sure somebody didn't cross through your yard that shouldn't be. Make sure your lights are on. Make sure your cell phones are charged. Make sure if you pick up the phone, you can contact and communicate with somebody. We would like you, if you're in that area, to maybe suspend your activities. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday about going out and hunting, like deer hunting or maybe coon hunting at night. Stay away from those areas. Don't be riding ATVs in those areas. Don't be hiking and canoeing down close to the Rockcastle River. Give us some time to see if we can locate Mr. Couch in this national forest. And it's a big forest. Y'all saw photos. I've sent you videos. This is not a small area, and this is not This is not like going across the road and looking in the woods and finding somebody. This is the national forest. This is thousands and thousands of acres where Mr. Couch could have went. And we have no evidence at this time that Mr. Couch has left there. We have answered thousands of complaints, not only in this area, other counties, other states, and all over the state of Kentucky. If a complaint comes in, we're going to investigate it. We want those complaints to come in because we never know the smallest little tip what it's going to lead to. So please, the citizens of Kentucky and Laurel County and Rockhouse County, continue to call us and give us this information. We're going to come out and investigate it. None of it's came to tuition at this time. Nothing's came true, but the next one might. The next one might. So keep calling them in, and we're going to investigate them. And as the search, if it gets broader, it just gets broader. And if we have to take it somewhere else and technology takes it somewhere else, we're going to investigate it. But at this time, there's nothing that we have came up with to say Mr. Couch has left those woods. There's nothing to say he's got in a car. There's so many people that's got eyes on this investigation around the world that by now we should have got a pretty good tip that he has exited the woods. We have not got that. So our main focus is to remain in those woods until we find him. And some people say, well, what if he's not alive anymore? Well, we're going to stay in the woods till we find him. And, you know, that's our job. If he's dead or alive, it's our job to try to find him. And that's what we're going to do. I want to thank you all, the media. You all have been great. I asked you once yesterday about emailing and texting and calling. Keep doing it. I will try my best to get back with you. I can't get back to all of you, but I will try to get back to you on a timely manner. Maybe it's just a little text to tell you, hey, we got a meeting here at 3 o'clock or what we're going to do. And I know you have people that come in and relieve you all that maybe not get that information, but just give them my number and I will do my best to keep them informed of what's going on. But you all have done an excellent job. I mean, we don't want this publicity in Laurel County. We don't want this. We want you to pack up and go home to your families. We want to go home to our families. But we couldn't do it without you all. So thank you all again for helping us with our jobs. And let me reiterate, the Kentucky State Police is here for the manhunt and the capture and apprehension of Mr. Couch. So at this time, I'll open it up for any questions for me. And if you have anything involving the criminal part of this investigation, you can ask the sheriff or anybody on this stage if you have a question for them. But this time, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Well, I know you don't know this yet, but
yes,
given what you do know, what are the odds he's dead or alive, in your opinion?
Well, my opinion doesn't count. I have 10,000 opinions, and it changes daily. You know, it was a lot hotter today. I hope he doesn't have water. I hope he doesn't have food. And I hope he's wore out, and eventually he'll walk out of them woods. That's what I hope happens, and we'll let the judicial system handle him as they seem fit, and everybody goes home safely to their families.
The note said he planned to kill himself. What do you make of that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
If he is dead, do you believe that would make it easier for you guys to find him quicker than if he was alive, or how does that work?
Well, if it continues to be hot outside and he has passed away, you know, nature takes care of itself. I mean, you can see a lot of things from the air, and a lot of times buzzards start to fly. And if your body is decaying out there, that could help in this investigation. And not saying that it will happen, but that's human life. It's revolving. That stuff happens. Just like an animal that passes away in the woods.
You're not aware of the...
Yes, yes, ma'am.
How is Fish and Wildlife helping you?
You know, there is a river down there, and it's not way up, but it is up pretty good, and they've got access to boats and stuff like that. And they've got technology too. You know, they're constantly in the woods, and they have technology that we're using, plus just boots on the ground. You know, relieving our troopers and our deputies that are, you know, If I took off walking right here and walked a mile, I'd be a little out of breath. But I took off walking here and it's straight up and straight down, and I'm falling over rocks and through briars and thickets. It's a little different kind of walk. So just having the manpower to relieve somebody, they've helped tremendously, along with all the other agencies.
You're not aware of the text that he supposedly sent that said he planned to kill a lot of people, at least try, and then kill himself?
I am aware of that. That's something that the sheriff, I asked you at the beginning, the sheriff would have to explain on that stuff. I'm here for the apprehension and the manhunt, but you can't ask that question to the sheriff.
Yeah, I was just trying to see what you guys make of that, if you thought he was serious about that, what that tells you about state of mind. Can anybody address that part of it?
We are aware of that, but like I say, this is a continuing investigation, and that's been collected and handed over to the proper authorities to go through phones and stuff. And really right now, we can't elaborate a whole lot on the evidence that's been collected.
Can you tell us anything about if you've been to his home and collected anything from his computer, or if any of that gave you any kind of clue as to what his state of mind is, where he might be, or what his intentions might be?
I can tell you that we have been to the home and evidence has been collected, but I can't elaborate no further on that, sir.
Do you still believe he acted alone?
At this time, we have no reason to believe otherwise. It's still being investigated. As the investigation continues, I'm sure new leads will develop, but at this time, just him.
In terms of the tracking, have you guys been able to use dogs, and can you tell us what kind of help that's been to you, if that's provided anything that has been helpful at all?
Thank you. Yes, sir. We have used several canine dogs, not only in our agency, but outside agencies. They have came in and they have helped with this. And, when it comes to a point in time, we have people that want to volunteer. We got to make sure that they're proper, make sure they're equipped, make sure, we just can't put somebody out there because I got a good bloodhound and they're climbing up in the woods and they get hurt. We got to put people that are trained for this and trained for this terrain. We don't want to make another tragedy out of something. So we have to make sure the right people come to assist us. Now we'll take all the help we can get. It's just got to be the right help.
Speaking of help, can you talk about the reward essentially quadrupling since this began?
We have Crime Stoppers in Laurel County that has donated quite a bit of funding for this, and we've had a lot of private donors. I think in this community and surrounding communities that have donated money. Some want to stay anonymous, and that's their right. But we thank them because somebody might have a tip they just don't want to tell us, and maybe $25,000 will help them with that tip. And if that tip is great, Crime Stoppers will help them. And we've also had other Crime Stoppers like Bluegrass Crime Stoppers that has helped us spread the word. Because he might not be in our community. He might have got out of here. And you never know. Somebody might see him somewhere in another town, and that's why we're investigating those other tips at other locations.
Have you guys gotten any credible tips that have assisted with either the search or investigation?
We have got a lot of tips that are still under investigation that we are looking into, and this stuff comes in fast. I mean, it's moving fast, and we have the ATF and the Secret Service, and not the Secret Service, but U.S. Marshals and ATF. They're using their computer software stuff and trying to figure out technology, where information is and stuff like that. So information is going so broad, so fast, and just collecting it all together to help in this investigation. Where that leads to, say he has got out of the woods, like everybody wanted to know yesterday, has he got in a car and drove off? We want to find out if he made contact with somebody. And at this time, none of those have led anywhere.
In a previous presser, you had mentioned that you can't rule out if he has another weapon. Have you been able to figure out what, if any, weapons are registered in his name that he might have with him?
At this time, I do not know that if he has another weapon. The ATF has ran him to see if how many weapons he has has purchased or has in his name. And we don't know, he could have borrowed a weapon or found a weapon. We don't know that. Right now, we know he committed a harsh, cruel act of violence, and we got to consider him armed and dangerous until we locate him.
Do you know, did he, at the time that between the time he sent the text and he actually went out, do you know what that timeline was? Did he was this planned ahead, or was it just right off the cuff?
I will refer to the sheriff on that part.
You repeat that, sir?
I was just wondering, how much time between the time he sent the text and actually went out and did it? Was there any pre-planning, or was it the time he sent the text and the time that we went out?
We have that down to the minute, but I'd really rather not discuss that at this time, just because of the continuing investigation.
Is there any indication he took provisions with him or planned for a longer stay in the woods that you've been able to find so far?
We have received information that we have checked on. We really can't confirm that at this time. There's several pieces that we have investigated, and we've recovered a lot of things, a lot of different things that's pertinent in the investigation that I can't reveal to you. That's about all I can tell you right now at this point.
Do you think schools should continue to cancel as the manhunt continues?
I'm sorry.
Do you think schools should continue to cancel as the manhunt continues?
Well, they've chose to, and that's strictly, I've spoken to a lot of superintendents and personnel at the different schools, and they've chose to do that just as a safety precaution. We can't advise as Scotty said yesterday, we can't advise the superintendents on what action to take. That's solely up to them. A lot of businesses maybe, they're doing outside drive-throughs only and locking the doors, and that's just a precaution. If anybody wants to take a precaution, that's really left up to them. We're not putting nothing out on it.
Have the searchers come across anything, human activity, footprints, campfire, anything like that at all?
Well, the first night of the shooting and the next day, we did locate items that the sheriff's department and them had collected, and some of those items it's part of the evidence, but it's also some of the reasons we're still remaining in the woods, because we have nothing to say, hey, let's go outside of the woods, because we think that's where he's at due to some of that evidence. Now, I can't get into the evidence that was collected or found, but we're going to stay in there until we find him, until stuff takes us to another direction. And I believe the citizens, if we just packed up the citizens of Lower River Road and Rockcastle County, they expect us to stay there as long as we can until we come to resolve to find, Mr. Couch, or till we prove that he is no longer there. And, that's why we do this job, is to protect the citizens.
Sir, is there anything new over the last 24 hours?
Do what, ma'am?
Is there anything new that you have uncovered over the last 24 hours since your last press conference?
In the investigation part of it, I can't answer to that. The sheriff's department's done a great job. They're working with us and our partners. I think the technology that we've got that's been coming to us, and the use of the more helicopters, we're going over a more vast area and more drones coming there. You got to look. You get a drone, oh, it's fancy. Well, drone only lasts about an hour or so up in the woods, and when you're covering such a big area, and that battery don't last long, you have to bring it in and charge it. And just like a helicopter, you got to bring it in and get fuel in it. And at nighttime, it's not safe to have, officers in the woods tromping around when they can't even see, 5 feet in front of them. I've sent video out, you've seen, and that's probably a very minute video of really where they're going. I mean, that's they didn't have the pictures of the cliffs and the fall offs and stuff. So it's we're in a short period, and especially with our helicopters, if you know that area, if you drive through there in the morning, from about to about 10:30, there's fog. It's a real thick fog area, so us getting up in the air at certain times, like our time's crunched a little bit, but we're going to take all the help we can get, and we're going to continue to try to locate Mr. Couch until something tells us we need to go a different direction. And I want to continue to thank you all. Y'all have asked great questions, and some of them, we can't answer because it's part of the investigation, but some of them we can. And we want you to relay this stuff to the communities, and if I can answer anything else, I will. If not, we'll conclude this interview.
Do you have any estimation of how much ground you all have covered? You say it's this huge area. Do you know how much you've, I don't want to say cleared, but how much?
Well, our ground teams, they're like snails. They're going very slowly to make sure they don't leave anything unturned. It might be a tree that's knocked over and doesn't look right the way it's knocked over, or something, a piece of trash on the ground, or candy bar wrapper, anything like that. I mean, we have to collect those, and because that might be part of the evidence. The helicopter, now, they can get up and they can look at a large distance, and the drones, not as much as a helicopter, but we cover a lot of ground with the helicopters.
Can you tell us about any of the technology on those helicopters? Are they using that FLIR, that body heat, that sort of thing? And this time of year, do the leaves interfere with that, or have it been helpful?
Well, right now, like you said it, the leaves, it's real thick. It's not really got cold enough to start, the leaves start, falling right now. So it's very green. It's like a jungle, like I said, it's pretty thick out there. So they do have some hard times looking down, but we've got several, we have spotters up there that are constantly looking. Now, they'll see every animal in the world, running around. We're just waiting to see somebody else that don't look like an animal running around. And the FLIR system helps. I mean, it helps with the body heat at nighttime. So, and that's another thing. A lot of people say, hey, you ain't got boots on the ground, or our boots are on the ground. Our troopers, trust me, our deputies, trust me, they're in the woods. They're wore out. You ought to see them when they come in, they're wringing wet. They are on the ground walking through these jungles and in every imaginable terrain that you could think of. And you've seen it. You've seen the aerial. You've seen some of the walking. It's not an easy task, and they're doing that to make this community safer. And at nighttime, our helicopters are flying. They can FLIR. They're looking for heat sources. So if we see a heat source and that heat source moving slowly, or if it's moving really, really fast, it's probably a deer or something like that. But if it's moving slowly, they're going to try their best to now start tracking that heat source and getting troopers and deputies to that area where they find that heat source.
How long do you plan on expending this much resources on this search? I mean, at some point, I'm sure it gets to be unsustainable.
Well, we'll keep going until we're told otherwise, or until we can find Mr. Couch, or until something leads us in another direction. I want to thank you all, and we will come back tomorrow at 3. Hopefully there'll be some more new leads. Hopefully we'll have Mr. Couch detained. And thank you once again. And please share this information. Get it out there. And maybe we can bring some rest and calm to Laurel County and Rockcastle County soon. Thank you.